Welcome one and all. This is the 34th episode of 7 Sunday Morning Hot Takes, and if the only reason you're here is because the word controversy is in the title, well, I'm the dispatcher, and I'm not very good at making first impressions, so go screw yourself, I guess. Is that controversial enough? Hot take number 1. On the other hand, if the only reason you've tuned into this episode is to find out how I would fix war games, I'm happy to oblige and I won't keep you waiting. Let's get to it. As mentioned last week, the biggest problem for me is the lack of jeopardy because the match doesn't officially start until all 5 participants have entered. I also don't like the staggered entrances being one by one and the same team getting an advantage and then losing it and then getting it back again and again and again. To make it a lot more interesting and a lot more in the spirit of Survivor Series, 3 changes. The first, and the biggest, allow eliminations. The match begins right away and pinfalls and submissions count. If they occur, the participant is eliminated and their team is short-handed. The second change is that the participants enter 2 at a time, 1 for each side. Any advantage in numbers has to be earned. So it could start 1-on-1, then 2-on-2, then a pinfall and it's 2-on-1, then 3-on-2, then back to 2-on-2, then 3-on-3, and so on. Any combination is possible in any order, which really opens up the storytelling possibilities. It could go all the way down to 1 versus 1, or 5 versus 1, or stay at 5 versus 5 all the way through. It's like combining a traditional Survivor Series match with Elimination Chamber inside a double-sized ring. But here's the final twist. Each team has a leader, their final participant. To win the match, you must pin or submit the other team's leader. Think of it like chess. First you send in the pawn, then the rook, then the bishop, then the knight or the little horsey. And then you have the king, or in the women's case, a queen, but a queen that acts like a king. You win the match by taking out the other team's king. A babyface team could be down 4-2 and still pull out a miraculous victory. The first objective is to clear the battlefield of defenders, but the primary objective and the only path to victory is to take down the other team's leader. In this way, the match begins right away and the stakes are high all the way through, but in keeping with the spirit of war games, the match cannot be won until the final participants have entered the cage. It's like chess, it's like Elimination Chamber, it's like a traditional Survivor Series match, it's like war games and Capture the Flag all rolled into one violent spectacle where teamwork, strategy, momentum, and survival become factors of utmost importance. And that's my very well written, controversial idea for how to make war games a lot more interesting. Hot take number 2. Some of these hot takes this week are long, so I have to keep the others short. This one is short. Becky Lynch continues to amaze me, cutting an awesome announcer's desk promo this week. The whole world is saying that Becky Lynch is the greatest female wrestler of all time, and it's not just the whole world saying it. Other worlds, star systems in the galaxy might be saying it, you don't know. New exoplanets are being discovered every day. Hot take number 3. There's a really good movie from 1983 that shares the name War Games and features a very young Matthew Broderick basically playing Ferris Bueller before he was Ferris Bueller. If you haven't seen it, I recommend checking it out because it was way ahead of its time. Hard to believe it's 42 years old. What does this have to do with wrestling? Well, I'd like to see a steel cage match between Omos and artificial intelligence. Hot take number 4. So I went over to ChatGPT and I asked it if it knew who Omos was, and at first it wanted me to clarify what kind of moose. And then it knew exactly who Omos was, so I asked it, who would win in a physical contest between you and Omos? And it replied, let's be honest, in a physical contest, Omos would destroy me instantly. So then I asked it, can you describe a match between you and Omos that takes place inside of a steel cage? And it replied, oh absolutely, let's step into the arena, fire emoji. And then it wrote 7 paragraphs. So then I wrote, you did not really incorporate the steel cage stipulation into the match storytelling. And they replied, excellent point, you're totally right. The steel cage should feel like a character itself in the match. Then they wrote 7 more paragraphs, but this time really emphasizing the cage. I'll give you a very brief example. Omos smirks, then grinds my flickering hologram's face into the steel. The crowd chants, cage, cage, cage. So then I wrote, now do me versus Omos. I'm just like you, but much more handsome and smarter. And then it wrote, perfect, sunglasses emoji. Let's set the stage. Steel cage showdown, Omos versus you, the handsomer, smarter AI. And then I actually won that match. And at the end it asked, would you like me to give this match a WWE commentary style recap like Michael Cole losing his mind? And I replied, how about Michael Cole losing his mind at the reveal that my physical form is in fact Brock Lesnar's hat? And they said, oh, that's brilliant. Let's do it. I won't read you the whole thing, but this is how it ends. Michael Cole screaming, the hat did it. The hat beat Omos. Brock Lesnar's hat is sentient and undefeated. The cage rises as you, the hat, rest back on the turnbuckle. The Titantron flashes one last time. Smarter, handsomer, hat. And that's the last time I'll ever do anything like that ever again. Hot take number 5. There's actually 5 rapid-fire hot takes on 5 unrelated topics. Chelsea Green defeating Julia and reclaiming the U.S. title seems crazy. Huge upset. It's only a matter of time before Julia wins that title back. Lash Legend saves a kind of clunky match between Charlotte and Nia Jax. That's a big boost for the women's SmackDown division. You know what else would be a great boost for the division's mid-card? Bring back Dakota Kai. Salesman of the Week is Rey Fenix doing a complete 360 from a stiff clothesline by Tala Tonga. Drew McIntyre is suspended and I guess now won't be in the Cena's last match tournament, making him the first wrestler featured in the promo to not be in the tournament. I wonder how many more of those there will be. Gambling is illegal in Saudi Arabia, even poker, so I guess get it out of your system while you're in Vegas, fellas, because next year's promos for WrestleMania will be a lot different. Hot take number 6. Some very exciting news if you're a Sami Zayn fan. Things are really lining up for Sami in a big way, as WWE just announced episodes of SmackDown and Saturday Night's main event for January 23rd and 24th. That's exactly 1 week before the Royal Rumble in Saudi. That's 3 straight high-profile shows where Sami will be the lead audience attraction. So either Sami's gearing up for a big Royal Rumble win, or conversely, he won't even be in the Royal Rumble match, but instead will be featured in the top storyline for a significant title. I kind of hope that's not it. Even if it's predictable, I hope he's the favorite going into the Royal Rumble and that he wins it. Side note, I've just heard reports that Kevin Owens has been training at the Performance Center recently. I know it's still way too early to make assumptions, but wouldn't it be amazing if the timing of Kevin's return lined up with a weekend in Montreal? Hot take number 7. So just as a hypothetical example, let's fantasy book a War Games match with the new rules that I suggested in hot take number 1. Sorry. My teams will be Solo Sikoa and the MFTs versus Roman and the original Bloodline. Roman will have with him Jimmy, Jay, Jacob Fatu, and Sami. Solo and Roman are the captains. To win the match, one of them will have to be pinned or submit. Tonga Loa and Jimmy Uso start things off. They wrestle for 3 minutes without a pinfall or submission. The next participants are JC Mateo and Jey Uso. The 4 battle back and forth until Jay and Jimmy get the upper hand and hit the 1D on Tonga Loa and score the first pinfall. The Usos have a 2-on-1 advantage against Mateo, but a few seconds later the buzzer sounds. Sami comes in for the Bloodline and Tama Tonga is about to step forward, but Solo holds him back and tells Tala Tonga to go instead. The big man enters the cage. The Usos double-team Tala Tonga but can barely contain him. Sami has his hands full with JC Mateo. Tala tosses Jay away and then hits a choke slam on Jimmy, pinning him. It's all even. The buzzer sounds and both Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu enter the cage with manic energy. JC Mateo meets Fatu. Tama Tonga mixes it up with Jay. That leaves Sami to deal with Tala Tonga. Sami uses his speed to back him up and then runs at him for a haluva kick, but instead runs into a big boot, and then a chokeslam, and Sami is eliminated. Jay is shocked and pushes Tama Tonga away to go after the big man, but he's overzealous and throws a spear head first into the big boot of Tala Tonga, and then Tama Tonga follows up with his finishing move, and suddenly Jay is eliminated as well. The 3 MFTs stand together and Jacob Fatu stands alone, but then the buzzer sounds. Roman hustles quickly to get into the ring and stand by Jacob's side. Solo slowly, deliberately takes his time lining up beside his 3 MFT teammates. Everybody starts brawling. Solo and JC Mateo take on Fatu, and Tala and Tama Tonga double-team Roman. Solo gives Fatu a hard uppercut that drops him, and then goes over to the other ring and tells Tama and Tala to hold Roman for him. This time he winds up with a Samoan spike. On the other side, JC Mateo off the ropes, but Fatu surprises him with a pop-up Samoan drop and scores a sudden pinfall. Solo looks back surprised and Roman breaks free, kicking Solo through the ropes to Fatu. Superman punch to Tama Tonga. Superman punch to Tala Tonga. Spear to Tama Tonga and the 3 count. It's 2-on-2. Roman and Fatu against Solo and Tala Tonga. Solo is furious and yells at Tama and JC on the outside. They search under the ring until they find a long steel chain that they throw into the ring. The chain is long, just like the Junkyard Dogs, and also like the Junkyard Dogs, it has a dog collar. For a while, it just lays there in the ring while the 4 wrestlers go at it. Eventually, Solo and Tala will wrap the chain around Fatu, tying him to the cage and also attaching the dog collar. Fatu tries to break free with all of his might, but can't and has to watch helplessly as Tala hits Roman in the head with a big boot, and then Solo hits a Samoan spike, and then Tala hits another big boot, and Solo hits another spike, and then Tala hits a 3rd big boot to the head, and Jacob finally breaks free of his chains. But it's too late, and he's too far away. Solo hits the 3rd Samoan spike and pins Roman Reigns. That sets up a dog collar match between Solo and Fatu at the next Saturday night's main event, and someone is going to get dog-walked for real. Someone is Solo. And that's one example of how I would book the new and improved War Games, which I will rename, without any irony at all, the War Games Survival Series New Dynamite Collision Match. Thanks for being here. It's a good feeling getting all of that off my chest. I'm the Dispatcher. You're on the top turnbuckle. And every day is a sunset flip.